Thanks for staying with us. Now, leadership issue is at the heart of the challenges facing Nigeria at the moment. And indeed, it is also the solution. In Nigeria today, there is excruciating poverty, insecurity, political uncertainty, bad roads, youth unemployment, and corruption, requiring creativity, innovation, decisive leadership, and people involvement to design solutions to them. Now, in order to progressively collaborate with our leaders, we will need answers to numerous questions concerning how the country, has been run up until now. So do you think Nigerians have this freedom to ask questions as regards, leadership, or ask probing questions to our leaders in Nigeria? Now, please let us hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. So I'm going to bring in the phone line later, but just give us some minutes. Let me ask my ladies.
My ladies.
So two things came up. I don't know if anyone saw the video of that was trending on social media of the governor. It was at a radio station where a radio presenter had asked him what had happened to some flyover that he was building, and his response was really, oh wow, it was interesting what he said. Elsie, can you interpret what he said, like literally,
But he sounded like he was doing you a favor.
Yeah. Thank you. And it was almost like you don't even have cars and you are asking for.
Who are you to ask me about what I'm doing?
Like it was almost like you are not.
You don't have money. Yeah. I'm getting the money. The way he's saying it, just you know how you're talking to your child.
So much arrogance. Like
you shouldn't talk to your child like that.
No, you are not even allowed to even ask questions. So that was one on one hand. And recently, I mean, the people at the morning show on a sister station, Arise TV, this morning, they had an interview with the DG of what's his position now? He's the DG of the Tinubu campaign, and they were asking some questions around, how his source of wealth and how come they found a bullion van and all of that. And it seemed like those kind of questions, it seemed like it was like a taboo asking those questions. So if we truly understand how we can move forward, and we understand that, when even in science, it is when you probe a lot of things, that is when you actually get all those groundbreaking results that we talk about and all of that. So why are we not open, as leaders in Nigeria, why are we not open to people probing and asking us questions? What exactly is the problem?
I think in my own opinion, based on how you put it, in fairness to our leaders, is a function of our programming from time past. Our upbringing up until recent time doesn't allow us to ask questions. We're not wired or conditioned to question people that are supposedly in authority. Even from our parents. It's until recent time that our kids can ask us questions that will take the trouble to actually explain. How dare you ask your mother, why is this what we're having for dinner? Why can't we're not raised that way. And because of that, a large number of us do not actually even think we're within right to ask questions. And the people you want to ask questions do not expect you to actually ask those questions. I think largely is hinged on that. And again, there's a part of us that gets triggered, like you doubt my integrity, or you think I'm being funny. Is that what you're probing? There's a bit of defensive response to it, which is what I think also causes us to have that kind of response and reaction. Is
already in doubt.
People just feel that for you to ask me a question, it must be because we preempt the question.
There's an ulterior motive.
Yes, we preempt.
How do you call it in politics? My political enemies sent you.
I was having a very sincere conversation with a friend whom I believe is doing an amazing work, but I just deferred a bit or disagree with his style a little bit, and I asked him some questions, and some of the way he responded to me, I was almost hitting him. Whoa, like, back it up a bit. I mean, come on, I'm your friend here. I thought we were friends. Why are you attacking me because I'm asking you a question that's made you feel like you're... if it is you that they have sent, let me tell you so that I can go and tell them kind of response. And I'm like, it's not that, it's not that deep. And he did a number on me, just put a wall for me. And I thought that a lot of people really do not trust people questioning them. And that's why they give very defensive responses, in my own thoughts. very much.
Absolutely.
It's also the thing as well, I think, that when you question me, are you interested in my response? That's the other thing. So there's 2 points for me. One is, do I have questions that I want to ask? Do I know how to ask them? Because there is you saying that these people have come out, they're leaders, and tomorrow I want to challenge you. If I want to challenge what you're doing, do I know how? Is there a channel? Is there a way for me to do that? And then those who are being asked the questions, also the mindset. We know that we have a trust issue here when it comes to our leadership, our politicians, we have that. So technically also, when I know that you ask me a question, and unless you get the answer that you're looking for, are you interested in anything that I have to say? That is also another challenge. So I think there are many aspects to this particular issue of asking a question and receiving a response, and then agreeing or disagreeing with the response. And then if we do disagree, what happens next? I think we don't have avenues for those kind of engagements. It's not in our culture.
Continuous conversation.
Dialogue and conversation. We don't have it.
So I was going to let me come to Elsie. Do these leaders understand? Because I mean, myself and Uti were driving and we were talking about the concept of servant leadership, right? If you understand the concept of servant leadership, right, you would know that there is no boundary when it comes to what the people you serve, you know, are supposed to expect from you, or how
supposed to question you about.
There's no boundary as to you can't tell the people that you're serving that don't go there. Because if you are a servant, put yourself as a servant in the position of your lords. If the Lord says jump, you ask how high. You don't do anything
until
it's a question. But you don't see themselves as servants. That's where we are coming to.
I like to Elsie respond before I give my own.
Go ahead.
Why are you passing the ball? I think there should be boundaries. Trust me, Nigerians are not the kind of people you give unrestricted access to. And not because we are not human, but because if you are seeing what goes on social media. Let's take social media as an example, in the way people talk to people and shred people and tear them into pieces. If we do not have some measure of control around how to engage people, Nigerians have a tendency to abuse it. People don't even do their research before they ask questions. Sometimes the kind of question they ask, you wonder, you would want to, sorry darling, you would want to ask them, do you even understand the subject matter? Because some of these questions are totally off point. And it doesn't mean that you can ask questions or probe leaders or expect them to be more transparent. There's a high level of lack of accountability in our system. And that's because we're not wired and we're not structured to really put, it's just like the debate. When they set up debate, how many of those debates really do they do justice to? I believe we should hold our leaders accountable. I believe we should set up forums that allow them to explain to us. Those are what the town hall meetings are for, but really beyond just coming to do announcement and all those things, I do not think they're adequately utilized. But should we put measure and control in place? Yes, we should. We cannot just allow without
have people
to just talk without caution, or just because you are my follower and I'm your leader, and because of that you just throw me some question that makes me look like, hello, excuse me, sir. Are we alright? You know,
I feel like since the beginning of our resumption of Who Is This year, I've been on communication sets, so I feel like I'm fitting myself, right? But I hear culture, and I know it's a thing. Like she said, we were not raised to ask questions, and we're beginning to unlearn, relearn, get better. But again, we were sitting down and we decided that we wanted to copy the American style of leadership, right? We left British. We said it's Americans that we want to copy. And I don't like the idea of us deciding to emulate this role of leadership when it suits our personal agenda. Right? It's easy for our governments to mention China when they want to do something that is going to hinder communication, and they want to tell you we need to control social media and things like that. But when it comes to other areas of development and their role of leadership, and
don't bring China in the
conversation.
You cherry pick.
Thank you. That's the word, you cherry pick. And for me, if you're running a democratic government, then it means that you have leaders there, not rulers. I remember one caller we had last week was saying something about our mindset and the fact that we've had years of military ruling.
That was devolved.
And, you know, and it's also affecting the way we see things and the way we think things should be. So if you're going to say you have democracy and you were elected into that place, then it's just your responsibility as a leader to understand communication. Now, that communication is not your only, it's not your responsibility alone. It's the responsibility of everyone around you, which is why, of course, they have the chief press secretary, you have the commissioner of information, you have this, that, right? The situation we are in today, right? Forget about our president now, him not saying the right things or responding the right way. There are people that would be around him, and these lapses would not be very obvious, right? The way they will respond to questions, you won't even need to right? But because we have the person we have there at the moment, it just seems like it is us against them, and that's not how it's supposed to be. Are we allowed to ask questions? Yes, we are. Sometimes I agree that the questions are sometimes unreasonable, especially from people who are actually not in a position to ask those questions, because as much as we say there should be questioning and all that, it's not everybody that should be asking questions. If the whole 200 million Nigerians come out to start asking questions, then how many would you answer? There are people that are supposed to ask these questions
on behalf of the
yes, and then when they even go out of line, you see other people that want to call them into order to say, why would you be asking this kind of question? Did you not do your research? So I'm even going to ignore those set of people, those that are making noise on social media and insulting people, because I feel like if you want to get result or the proper response, then you should know how to ask the right questions. You cannot insult a person because he is your servant leader, however I want to put it. You cannot use derogatory terms because you think that
was what Uti was trying to
explain. Yes, I elected you then.
So I have the right to talk down to you.
And that is what I see a lot on social
young
media.
People doing, yes.
Not necessarily young people, because I have seen people that you think.
Media?
So, but I think it's a perspective of frustration. First of all, you know, on social media, the great thing about social media is it's nameless, it's faceless. You can write anything. There are questions people will ask on social media. Dare say you're standing in front of the person, you will never say it, right? So I tend to not even think about social media, right? Okay. But the people who will have the gall to say, I'm standing in front of you and I'll ask this question, sometimes I like to think towards the motivation, right? And which is why I say that people need to even be educated and understand. All 200 million people cannot question the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But there are stages and there's a hierarchy in government. Whether it's your councillor down the street, whether it's your honorable, whether it's your senator, do people even understand what to ask and to who? And what they are expecting to get back? So, because
so I was going somewhere with that in terms of what we took from the Americans now in terms of leadership. If you want to say, let's even look at the media and how the government responds to media, and that's exchange you watched today. I don't want to believe, and nobody can even convince me that Nigerian media has hard questions than a CNN or a BBC when they are sitting face to face with even the president of America. It doesn't happen because they ask hard questions. But even when those questions are hard and you don't want to respond, and like you said, if they are ready to listen to what you have to say, there are ways to still make your point, and even people watching would be the ones to say, Oga, your question is too much now, he has answered you. But here, don't ask me that kind of question. There's a kind of question you shouldn't ask. I'm not supposed to be accountable to you. I'm your president, so whatever I say to you should be what it is. Which was why I was commending the interview with Channels TV, the last one. They actually tried to do follow-up questions, because you realize that they will be asking this certain question, he's responding to something else, and she had to bring him back to say, no, this is what we are saying, this is the pulse of the people, this is what we're talking about. And for him to even say something around, I don't know where you got your figures from, when he is actually giving you figures that the layman on the streets knows about their transactions of your own economy, and you're saying he got it from somewhere. So again, like I said yesterday, this is not even about one person or about this administration. We've seen it over the years. We've seen that idea that whatever I do should be what it is, and you cannot question it.
So
because
that is
I am there doing you a favor, which was the vibe that Governor Ikpeazu was giving.
That's why this conversation is even happening. I hear the phone lines are already buzzing, but you know what? Let's just go on a very short break. There was something Uti had mentioned while we were driving. I would like her to bring it back up. We'll be right back. Stay with us. All right, thanks for staying with us. If you just tuned in, it's our Ladies' Night Out, and we are focusing on asking this question that are Nigerians freely, or are they truly free to ask our leaders questions? Please let us hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation, send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. Our phone line is now open, is 07025007749. Please turn off the volume of your television set while you're ready to talk to us so we can hear ourselves. If you don't do so, we will cut you off, please. Don't let us cut you off. We really want to hear what you have to say. So the number again is 07025007749. All right, so, while we were having a drive, myself and Uti, when we were coming, part of the question that I think it was Rufai Hussaini that asked the DG for, what's his name, Tinubu's campaign. He asked him a question that how much does the person, Tinubu, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, how much does he earn? And Uti had a very interesting perspective.
How does he earn from what?
That, like, how did he make his money? I think that was the question. Sorry. How did he make his money? How did he make this much wealth? That's the question. Sorry, Uti.
So my take is simple. Like you referenced, Elsie, about the things that we take from the Americas or abroad. Most people in Nigeria, you don't know how they make their money. One of the outcries we had last year, 2022 now. In 2020 was the idea that young people were being questioned about why they're walking around with the latest iPhones and all of that. And my take is always simple. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. If you don't want to tell me how you made your money, then why you expect him to tell you how you made your money? I know he wants to become a leader, so you say accountability and all of that, blah, blah, blah. But
young people were not being questioned, they were being profiled.
Profiled, questioned, semantics, tomato. The fact is somebody was asking. Yes, somebody was asking. Somebody was making an inference.
If I come to you to harass you to say,
bring your phone, let me check your account.
And tell you, then I start knowing that's
simple. Let me say you don't want to be asked, and I'm like, if you don't want to ask, then you also shouldn't ask. The fact is, are you ready
also to be open to those kind of questions? But let me take
want anybody to tell you ask you how you got your phone.
Supposed to stop you.
Let me take Peter.
That's not their job.
Let me take Peter.
It's pure harassment.
Thank you for calling.
Yeah, good evening.
Hi, Peter. Thank you for calling.
You guys are looking very good, all of you.
Thank you.
Okay, let's get to the conversation. We cannot ask our leaders questions because the country itself is a failed nation.
What?
Because all the questions we've been asking our leaders, let me even narrow it down to this year, for the last 6 months, or for the last 1 year. We ask questions for the EndSARS protest. We ask questions for the Ikoyi building that collapsed. We've been asking questions on the subsidy. Is there truly subsidy? And recently the semester issue. Nigerians are always asking questions. The reason why we're even having this power to ask this question is the invention of the social media space. Take your mind back to 25 years or 30 years back of the military era. The dark ages of Sani Abacha. The way forward is simple. We as citizens don't even know our rights. And the leaders that came out from the citizenship as a country that are exhibiting this bad character, it will snowball one day. Whereby inevitably we will not decide that enough is enough. Impunity is so much. I'll give you an example. In my state, Edo State, I called my governor a sole administrator because there is no House of Assembly, no local government chairman, or even recently the appointed commissioner. We've been asking questions and nobody will answer you. Abraham Lincoln once said that true peace is not the absence of conflict, but the presence of justice. Nigeria will change, but it might break happens during our time.
Hey,
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
What he said about subsidy. This is always funny to me when this conversation starts. Remember Occupy Your Jota? Be where did you occupy?
Where did you occupy?
Why did that thing happen? Was it not because of subsidy? And it was happening. Then that was like how many years ago? That's 10.
Yeah.
I was way younger than I am now, yeah. But at that point, I understood that subsidy needed to go. But people were at all Jota following our presidents of now, right? And lining up and shouting and chanting. And at the end of the day, they shall left the subsidy for them. The same subsidy that this our president is chanting to remove. So like you said rightfully, what are we even asking for? Do we even know what we need? And there's something is called where you have to suffer a bit to begin to enjoy the benefits.
Delayed
now is the longest time to, well, I mean, please continue.
Because I mean, even on this story of subsidy, people will tell you, if this is the one I'm getting now, let me continue to get it. Whether in the long term it harms us or not, then people don't even care. But you see, that's the thing. So we already agree. I think we can all agree on this table, and everybody agrees to a certain extent with Peter, that our leaders have gotten to a point where they don't need to be questioned. I wasn't particularly...
They don't need to be questioned?
Yes, that they feel that they don't need to be questioned.
Okay.
In everything that stood out for me in our president's interview was the point where he said nobody should ask me questions once he's out of office. I don't know if you remember that little part that he's made sure he's documented everything. I mean, if you have documented it, there's nothing that says I can't call you to ask for clarity. So yes, nobody I think will disagree. At least I don't think any of the ladies on the table here will disagree that our leaders don't like to be questioned.
Why?
We know.
Let me take Suleiman from Bauchi.
I'll tell you why.
Are you there? Thank you for calling. You're live.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening to you all.
Good evening.
Please, I want to ask 3 questions.
Okay.
To Auntie Uti. My questions are: 1, what does she think will happen when the Lekki seaport is completed by September, and when the Lagos-Ibadan road is completed before the end of this year, and the second under bridge, and how will all those things affect the economy of Nigeria? Thank you.
Thank you, Suleiman.
Suleiman, can I ask you a question?
Who is that question for?
It was for me, but I actually...
Suleiman, are you still there?
Is there?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
I have one question for you, and it's simple. Please, what is the intent of this question so that it can help the answer?
You know, we are talking about asking our leaders questions. And I believe all of you there, you are part of the leadership of this country. You are elite. So, and most of the time when you bring
Ludi on the table
to the studio, I get enlightened and I enjoy her when she talks.
Thank you.
Okay, so you want her to enlighten you?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
On the effect of all those projects on the economy of Nigeria.
So let us not, thank you, Suleiman. Let's not behave like our leaders that feel that there's always an ulterior motive for a question. So Uti, please. Do justice to that question.
In fact, I wonder, because when he was asking the question, Elsie beat me to the point, because I was going to say, what is the objective of the question? Because again, are you trying to be sarcastic? Is it rhetorical? Is it because for me the first thing was these are big ifs, and we know that when we talk about these projects, it becomes 1 year, it's 2 years, it's 3 years, it's 4 years. On the top of it, if all these projects are completed, of course it's going to have a positive impact on the economy. Definitely. But the if is the big question.
And let us even say, Suleiman, we want to agree with you in faith that the dates that you have stated, the dates you have stated, we want to see those projects completed, right? Because we are tired of having repetitive projects being quoted in our budget year in, year out. So we will be so happy, and it will impact our economy greatly. So it will be a plus for the economy if that happens.
But if it happens, does it mean that we cannot ask questions again? Because that's why I was asking.
I was going to come.
So exactly, because
let's even come back to this. Why we're asking questions. You mentioned something very strong, which was part of what I was saying, that why are you agitated as a president saying that nobody should call you back? So now we already know that part of the biggest challenges we have in Nigeria are padded budgets. where you see that if it is me and you, our hard-earned money we want to use to do this project, we will use 50,000 naira to do the project. But because it is government money, we are not, you know, the boldness at which
it's like 500 million.
How you are in my spirit. We will use boldness. You can even quote 5 billion on a 50,000 naira project.
Some of the projects
the
that
point
I see and
is,
the quotes.
why it is alarming.
You know, my first question, I'm like, my mama build house. So
please, is this amount
do you understand?
really just
so that's my point. So that is why we are supposed to be asking questions. The local government council person, you understand, we're supposed to ask him, what exactly are you doing for your community? But it seems like we are not allowed as Nigerians to ask questions.
Part of what I think is why he appeared like that is our level of education and information is very limited.
Who, in what direction?
How much of information? Not
how much can we handle?
How much of information are released in the public domain to guide the kind of questions we would ask? Trust me, everything that has been done in such a way that you will need to have a bit of understanding and clarity of the subject matter for you to ask the right questions. Otherwise, you just sound like you're talking off point.
It's recently that it became legal for you to actually ask them for data and mandate
some
them.
of those data were not even in the public space. Trust me, we just follow government and we listen. We're just like a receiver. All we're supposed to do is just to listen to what they do and what they say they're doing.
They don't even expect you to listen.
They do not provide enough information that guides even our understanding of the event.
You are coming to where I was trying to land. They don't even expect you to listen, because to listen implies that you talk. Do you recall at the beginning of that interview when they were giving the intro and they explained how in the entire President Buhari administration, how many times has he spoken to us? You can actually count it.
Do you know
what I mean? Exactly. Yes. You can actually count it. So it is that you think that
you're doing me a favor.
You were saying because I said something when we were getting ready today. I said one of the things that I respect the most, or I liked the most about the Governor Fashola regime. I can't speak for others. That was a time when I worked there. And I remember being at his 100-day in office. And at the time when what's it called now? Oshodi was being cleared. I remember thinking, you know, when he first came out, it was like signboard, take signboards down, do this, do that. And I'm thinking, what has all of this got to do with Lagos State? Yes. With governance, you know, it didn't make any sense at the time because I was abroad and I was hearing it and it didn't make sense. But I was in that town hall that day and I heard him break down the economic impact of Oshodi as it was. It was a groundbreaking experience for me.
Thank you.
So the reality of it is, our leaders are not even ready to put themselves in positions where they can even explain what they're doing. Because if I have some insight into the why, then we can come to what Nola is saying about the types of questions that we ask. Because now I have some insight into your thought process. So I create an opportunity that says, look, I have an opportunity for you to engage with me. You know, it's not that social media, you have some governors online on Twitter, they respond to some things or whatever. But we don't even have those channels where we say that these leaders are putting themselves out for you to question them. But then even we as a people, I want to really hammer on this because we also have to educate ourselves.
That's part of what
we have to understand that, look, where are my avenues for asking questions? What is the obligation of my counselor to me, to my House of Rep, to my senator?
And let me even say that even when we are asking questions, I mean, Elsie touched on it, and I think Uti as well touched on it. Even when we are asking questions, right? Let's not come like we are here for war. There is you have to apply emotional intelligence, communicating with anybody, any human being. Because normally, there's a way you would communicate with me, Uti, I will bring out all my resistance.
See, there's a bit.
You will hit a brick wall with me.
That is largely because there's an assumption of there's something we assume as leaders, and you only need to be in position of leadership to have a bit of understanding as to why there's a high sense of perceived arrogance and sense of superiority. And I think that's where some of this question and answer reaction stems from. There's always a bit of, why would you talk to me like that kind of reaction? And really, you would need to understand where that is coming from. I think it comes with the paraphernalia of office and the the part of where we're supposed to be servant leaders, where we're supposed to be accessible, and it doesn't just play out in politics, it plays out in every sector of the economy. Look into the church. How much of access do you have to your general overseers? How much of questioning can you do on even the funding that is generated within the church space? Now, it's easier for us to talk about politics because that seems to be like our general purse. But there's a lot of funds that go into a lot of coffers, a lot of organizations that even the leader, even in companies,
church will tell you
even in companies, can your staff ask you to do an audit and expect you to explain? If I've been working in this organization for this number of time, can the CEO come and explain what you're doing with the fund?
Break it down.
Yes, we are not an accounting system in terms of people. We do not expect our people or our subordinates to actually question us. We're not wired that way. And I think with repetitive action like this, we start to become less protective and less defensive in the way we respond or react to question and answer sessions. I think it's gradually, with social media, it has helped a lot in making people think that you owe us an explanation.
Okay, let me take Mark from Lagos. Are you there? Thank you for calling. Mark, are you there? Oh, we lost him. Okay, so let's take some comments.
Okay, this one says, I think Milola captured the topic perfectly. We were conditioned to respect our elders and leaders, not to question them. The adage, what an elder sees while sitting down, a child won't see
when he climbs the
even
tree.
If he climbs to the top of the tree.
That's right.
Is and was meant to silence the younger ones from asking questions. In my opinion, this in a way hampers our growth. Things are changing though, but with strong resistance from elder and leaders. We all saw what happened with NSAS. We can inculcate the practice of asking questions from our home.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's
a good contribution.
So this is from Bissy, and it says, good evening, ladies. Happy New Year. It's really pathetic that our leaders and people in positions feel they are alpha and omega. We always forget that power is transient. Why should we be angry if you're asked to give a breakdown of how you spend public funds? This is not only peculiar to political leaders, but even small groups. Sometimes when you ask a lot of questions, you're singled out for victimization in workplaces and even families. The change should start from us. We need to learn how to be accountable, knowing that public funds are not our personal money.
Thank you.
On point.
I actually like that we took it a bit away
from politics, yes.
Although this question
when Milola mentioned church, I say
yeah, church is one.
There's
Even
a lot
with
of
still
organizations.
since we always like to use NSAS as a point in case, even with the NSAS funds, there is still
when
drama. And when they ask questions, the people that are supposed to answer these questions, see tomorrow, are telling you, I gave my time and my all. You don't have the right to ask me questions.
So where's that supposedly open fund and explanation? After a while, we really never know where it went again.
At some point, we even heard those that are asking for these explanations are not the ones who donated the money. So it is not just
culturally we don't have
a culture.
How do we move forward?
We keep trying.
So then, how do we also ask the right questions? What are we supposed to have to equip ourselves?
Information in a public space is very critical for us to make significant progress. And I think really we need to do more of debating. Just like when we went to school, we used to do debate, and there's a lot of question back and forth. We need to create avenues and platforms that enables people to really explain. And we should stop torchlighting leaders in politics. Let's take it down to because sometimes I will find myself telling my staff without being asked, I don't touch the business money. I only get salary just like every other person. And nobody asks me what I do because actually it's my business. But I find myself explaining myself to them, even without anybody prompting or asking me that question. Because I feel that they have a right to understand what I'm doing with the business funds as they contribute their sweat equity to the growth of that brand. When we become that responsible enough to explain without being asked, it would limit people probing us questions and asking foolish
Let me
questions.
take with them from Abuja, then I'll come back to you, Uti. Are you there? Thank you for calling. Hello? Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Well done.
Thank you.
Okay, taking a cue from the lady, the third lady from the right, from you.
Milola.
There are two perspectives, right? In asking questions, have we bothered to ask or confirm that leaders, besides the fact that they have their public life, they have a personal life? And also, in asking questions to in Nigeria, most times we forget that we have extant laws protecting these leaders. So when you're asking questions, you should question also the validity of the constitution that protects these leaders. Who passed these laws? How were the laws passed? Because if I'm asking questions, then I should be able to define where does the personal life of this leader begin and where does his public life begin. That's my concern.
Thank you.
Thank you, Oden. Thank you.
There's the argument that says that once you become a public leader, nothing is private anymore. What I was going to say was, just in terms of, for me, where we move from here. One, I always say that leadership is a skill. It's one that you actually learn and develop. And part of it is communication. So if you don't want to be questioned, speak up. Tell us what you're doing. Tell us what went wrong. Tell us what went right. And I keep saying it. Education is, knowledge is power, as cliche as that may sound. But the reality of it is, I remember post the NSAS protests and all of that, everybody was like, go and learn the Constitution. It was flying everywhere. There were webinars, there were people, lawyers coming out, holding all of that. And then it went flat.
Do you know how big that Constitution is?
But it's true, and that's what our college
terminology sometimes is
struggle.
So you have to know.
No, but you must have a willingness. You can't tell me that that document is too bulky. No, so but you have to start somewhere, which is why I said that, look, if you go and search the Constitution, even for a section that is important to you, and learn it, if we all did that, we would be in a far better place. Because let me tell you the problem. I will say it, and I will keep saying it, because people have dragged me. We are all in this political talk. 2023 is here. Our future honorable is here.
Yes. So.
Knowledge is power. We need to understand the way the system works. We need to know what our responsibilities are and what to ask of our leaders. You cannot ask questions when you don't even know what you should be asking.
That's exactly my concern.
So it is important that we start to all take responsibility for this Federal Republic of Nigeria. And know that you have a part to play. It's not about continuous voter registration. If they give you the choice between the devil and the deep blue sea, you are still in hot frying pan. So go and learn, and go and find people that will actually, because we like to talk, we don't all like to come up. It's not easy to be a leader. So let people to stand up and get up and say, you know what, I'm coming out like our honorable to make a difference. It's very simple.
We should move.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, there's no time.
There's no time.
It's a very interesting conversation. I didn't think that it would really do this much justice, because for me, I thought, what are we going to talk about?
You know, so the thing is, even on seeing the topic alone, people just feel like we're here to attack leaders. No. The goal is, and I like how you're wrapping the conversation, we are not responsible. As citizens. Yes, we are not responsible.
But
because you see, you can
offshoot of the citizens.
No, forget that one. We
all of us are not responsible.
We know. No,
she doesn't want to take. I think because she doesn't want to take it alone, we have to share.
Because why I said I don't want to respond, but there's no time. Because I wanted to say, what is that question? I mean, in this scheme of conversation and communication with our leaders, point one question that we have asked that you say, it's not in our right to ask that question.
Hold on.
Elsie,
we are all hoodlums. My point is, it's true, 2023 is upon us, right? Because a lot of political conversations, and there will be a lot of propagandas going on, where people are trying to attack the person and all of that. That's not our... So you have to be intelligent, and you have to be equipped with the right information so that you are asking the right questions. Are we free to ask our leaders questions? Yes, we are. But I think we are also very, very ignorant as to what to ask those leaders. So we need to be prepared. So and that's why we will not meet. Let me tell you something. There's a way a British man, you know, say Uti is trained in the British land. There's a way a British man will tell you to go to hell. You look forward to going to hell. That is the kind of intelligence that we want to be able to bring when we are demonstrating and asking questions, right? Those are the kinds of things I want young people to start to do. As opposed to insulting people and being so unruly on social media. We don't need that. I think on that note.
We've come to the end of
Thank you, ladies. Today is a thank you day. And thank you to all the wonderful people that called. The ones that we couldn't pick your call, we are sorry. But thank you again, all the same. Thank you, Uti. Thank you, Damilola, Milola, Tiwa Online. And thank you, Elsie Godwin. All right, so before we go, I said this yesterday, I will say it again. Penny Tree, in partnership with Waze, will be reserving 20 slots, right, for people who sign up on their Pen exclusive associate program. All you have to do is mention that you watched it on Waze, and you stand the chance to earn 200,000 naira, over 200,000 naira. You would earn that money clean once you mention that you watched on Waze. So they are reserving 20 slots for all our young viewers. You have to be between the ages of what's that age again now? We'll look for it. 18 to 35, yes. So please go on their go on social media and just follow them and see how you can apply. It's a fantastic program, and it's a clean way to earn decent money, so that when they ask you how are you making your money, you can show them. Simple. All right, so ensure you follow us on Instagram. It's at Way Show Africa. You can drop a comment, interact with us further, and follow all our social media engagements. Like, share, invite your family and friends to watch and follow us. Now, if you missed today's quote, here it is again. The essence of statesmanship is not a rigid adherence to the past, but a prudent and probing concern for the future. We are concerned about the future of Nigeria. So when we're asking the questions, please know that it's for statesmanship and for one Nigeria and for the future of our great country. We'll see you guys tomorrow at 8 p.m. as we bring another great conversation to your screen.